Okay, I think this is what 293? 93 or 94. What day is it? It's Tuesday the 19th of October 2019, October 19th, 2021. I'm on Burnt Island. Gonna just heading down to the beach. It's been showers, but it's quite warm for October, considering we're getting onto the due to change tomorrow. Time it's about 10 to 8, so I figure now's maybe the best time to be. Now's maybe the best time just to be heading out. I'd hope the sky would be better, but last time I was here, the place was covered in shows. A few dog walkers down here with the sun, but headphones are on, so although it's interesting. Because I actually had a different perspective in the last couple of days from Silja Slinan, Finnish lady, who's done a lot of YouTube stuff of late on this subject. And her attitude is just focus on yourself, I think. Fair play to her. I do like her attitude. Just give me a different perspective. Okay, under the railway tunnel, which gets us onto the marina. Okay, the trick here is this can be quite clay-like. Yeah. And quite murky. Well, it's not very much, it's still October. Now, plan is to walk to the island, to the rocks and back. Or as far out as what I can do. Now, the tide's not fully out as yet, but so there's no rush. What I did find interesting is, again, it's because of work agency, was you're seeing all these people sitting and baited, and here's me in shorts and sandals. And I just thought it was hilarious how the juxtaposition. Now, lately I've just been wearing shorts and sandals wherever I go. If I can barefoot, then great. If not, then but I find it funny how are people dressing just for look rather than being comfort. You know, I dress for comfort. I don't look great. I never will. I don't follow fashion. I never have done. Don't actually see the point in following the crowd, because instead of something that I was thinking about a lot lately, instead of following others, why don't you just create, if you don't like culture, then create your own. Why are we all so desperate to fit in? I'm not really sure quite, the older I get, then the less I really understand it, because I've never followed fashion. I never really followed. I've never worn or listened to anything or seen anything just because everybody else is. Though I did watch Squid Games the other day just to find out what all the hype is about, and even that's quite obscure. But yeah, sometimes it's interesting to see what all the fuss is about and realise that the fuss isn't really, although Squid Games I did like. But the big point being is, why are we all so desperate to fit in? I'm not really sure I quite get that. But yeah, I was listening to a couple of videos by Simon to apologise. If I've mispronounced the name, I do apologise. But yeah, she said some interesting things about, when you're going barefooting, I've always found myself being very self-conscious. It's one of the big things. I've always found myself being in the past I always used to go at very early times, or times where I didn't think many people would be about. Last few weeks I've been working a lot, running about a lot, doing a lot of night shifts. And then yesterday I was seeing a partner at the other end over pretty much opposite where we are now. Be about 5 miles away from where I stand. So yeah, came home. I do have my driving test theory coming up a week, in fact in 6 days. Yep. So doing a lot of study for that. Did 10 mock tests and passed 6 of them, so when I get home, dare say he'll be back at studying again. Do another 10 during the rest of the day. Anyway, but yeah, the point being is why are we so... I mean, we're so worried about what other people think that we're trying to work out what we think. And trying to work out what we think is easier said than done. So, I guess my point being, be yourself, create your own thing. Create the life where you're comfortable, but be happy within yourself. I know it's easier said than done, I appreciate, but yeah. Even going to work, I mean, in the last this year, because I didn't really know the people that I worked with, I would always be in jeans and trainers. Whereas in the past I'd be in sandals, I'd be barefoot in sandals. 2 years ago, it took me a bit of courage, but eventually I used to be in shorts and sandals going down to work. Used to do, because it was relatively close, then I used to do a little bit of barefooting before it. That would have been on the other side, but maybe not. Anyway, yeah, I used to do about 5 minutes of barefooting. Although today's what, the 19th of October, so this is one of the latest times in the year I've been barefooting. I suppose it's just a sign of global warming, I guess. A little tired here. But yeah, global warming, and it's definitely not that cold. It might get colder tomorrow, but taking full advantage of this. But then, yeah, I guess I'll still try and wear shorts and sandals wherever I can do, wherever I can do. This is just amazing, just being out here. I could technically walk to Kinghorn, which is just over there. And because it's a weekday, partner's working, so she did send a text saying she hopes that I have good fun getting out here, that she knows I would have fun getting out here. Which, it's the first time in about almost 2 weeks that I've had the chance to do this, so in fact in over 2 weeks, and it feels amazing. It's impossible not to feel happy when you're doing this. That seagull's just over there. The reason why I'm reluctant to go to Kinghorn is it's a pain in the arse trying to get back to the station once the station's at the far end of the village, and it's a pain in the arse trying to get there. Burntisland's just got a far better station. It's practicality more than anything for the end of the walk, although it isn't a good walk, and it was done a few months ago. I think just the fun of this is it's actually quite intoxicating. but it's definitely not cold. Well, if I could take some photos of it, but the video will do it. I mean, okay, this year, well, last year, I suppose was a barefoot. This is the first walk of this barefooting year. But last year, I think I did about 40. Never did as much as what I would have liked, but so much has happened that I did over 40 walks. And we did quite a few walks here. We're all over the place. Did a few back where I live, did quite a few, did Kinghorn, did here to Kinghorn, we did King's Barns, did something up north. Where did we go again up north? We did something which we never filmed round the parks and round the park in the high street of Tom and Tool. That wasn't filmed, but I never really documented it. We did Fintop Bay, which I couldn't really film because I was just with people that I didn't really know. So I did a short video that day. But I was with a couple of people who hadn't really done it before, who hadn't. And fair play to, should I mention her? Fair play to Jen, she really got into it that day. So it's interesting when you're introducing people to the concept of this and they actually understand it. It's also interesting seeing people's faces when they get into it and they understand the movement. Something that I know it took me long enough to understand. And you understand the freedom of it. Okay, now we've got the rain. Let's see how far out I can get. And I'll double back. I think today's meant to be showers, but you can just make out Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh just over there. But we're heading for something infinitely smaller. It's funny, the only places that I've ever really been barefooting is Scotland. I did have the chance a few years ago to go barefooting in Tide Park, but it's never really interested me. I mean, I appreciate London for what it is, but I just find that I find London very cold. Northern parts of England are different, but London itself is just yeah. It's just very cold. For me, I personally find it very cold compared to up here. Up here's got a colder climate down there. Which, okay, I can just make out a footprint there. I think you've got to be careful in this part of the beach because, well, not all this beach, because it can be quite slimy. Okay, this is going to be quite a long video, I think. But I love it when you see this. Okay, you've got Kinghorn over there. And then you've got all this. And the tide's not even fully out yet. If I'm taking this week off, I might as well make the most of it. Tomorrow I don't know what I've got planned, but Was more study. Thursday, nothing on. Thursday, see how I feel, see what the weather's like. It's just amazing how far out you seem to get. Must get a good, at least a good half mile, 3/4 of a mile out. Which is just so vast. Basically the plan was, I mean, I fell asleep during the end of football last night, which it was a good game. Caught the end of it, caught the second goal, caught all the goals. Fell asleep during the Arsenal Crystal Palace game, which was a good little game that I didn't expect anything from, but I knew that I don't sleep that well. So fell asleep about 10 to 10. Woke up at 5. I knew that I would have to leave about 7ish to get here. 10 to 7. However, by the time I do my walk, head home, the school run will have been done, so it should be an easier, the rush hour should be over, although I would be going in the opposite direction. So yeah, I think I might have timed it quite nicely. Yeah. Big point being, if you don't like the culture, change it, create your own. I mean, basically, we're ready to see how I think about how many people who actually watch all these videos, especially to the end. And like I say, this one could be a good hour, or certainly 3/4 of an hour. But it feels good that I've done it. It's just, like I've always said, this is more of a video diary than anything. Definitely a sign of global warming anyway, because in the past when I was a kid, I've seen frost at this time of year. For it to be 16 degrees in October, it's unheard of. God knows what that boat is over there, but I wonder if it's a repair vessel. Seen some pretty impressive things coming out here. Oh shit. Okay, I'm going to go to the sea, but I feel like a bit of a dick because these guys are just looking for their dinner. Now I need to see a gap. And all these guys are after is just something to eat. Oh, shit, sorry guys. This could be a bit of a dick move, but okay, sorry guys. Look, I'm the last person that's going to harm you. Okay, straight across there, you can, that's Edinburgh. You can just make out Hill End and the Pentlands around it. Still never quite got around to do, never did get around to doing the Pentland, which again is on my bucket list. Over that way, I think we'll be able to make it out, but get the bridges. If you see any flashing, that should be the bridges. Or that is the bridges, all three of them. Flashing bit is the Queensferry crossing. Oops, half-hour shot of myself. Oh, fuck it, nobody ever gets that far. Bearing my feet in the north, 4th of 4th. And 8:15, so I've still got 40 minutes before it goes all the way out, but I'll head back just now. So it should be about 28 minutes. But it's weird, you can never ever see myself on this. Pressing the camera the wrong way. And it's just checking the time. Came out as a barefooter last week to a friend of mine. She does a lot of outdoor stuff, not massive walks, but she does a lot of paddleboard and all that stuff, walks with the kids, that sort of thing. Trying to explain ground in theory, I think she kind of got it, but at the end of the day it's either you get it or you don't. My own footsteps just here. Birds can go back to, seagulls can go back to where they are, where I was. I do apologise. So it's always funny on the way home because you're always thinking, oh shit, I need to do this. In my case, yep, a driving test theory to practice. Endless theory tests. Must. Work on the questions today, then work on the hazard perception tomorrow. Hazard perception, I did pass it, just ran out of money last time for lessons. not helped by some stereotype who, not helped by, I'm not the greatest driver, but I didn't have the greatest instructor either, which I will need. Funny thing about living over here is everything is roundabouts, and I'm terrified of roundabouts. However, I've got no choice in the matter. Sometimes you just need to get your head down and just say to yourself, fuck it, shit needs done. And that's... sorry, headphones came out. So look to be a simple mantra, shit needs done. But it's also a very good mantra. Right, this is going to be the tricky bit because you're trying to pick the way back. So yeah, over the next few days, taking a week off just to get the study done. It takes about. I'm glad to have done this because it clears my head a bit before I get studying. Although it's nice to see, it's nice to be barefooting. It's amazingly warm for this time of year. It's never normally this warm. Anyway, heading back. Also, it's just quite nice just to go barefoot. It's obviously lovely to go barefooting. So, first walk of the barefoot year. I'm going to try and come down here during the winter, if possible. If possible. Either way, it's going to be bloody cold, but headphone coming out. Yeah, I will try and come down. The reason why I say here is because it's a bit more socially acceptable now, and I appreciate what Sil just said. Celia, anyway, nobody actually cares if you're going barefoot. People will stare, but very few people actually say anything. Very, very, very few people say anything. I did have some people, one person, when I was walking around the field back where I used to live, saying, "Oh, are you okay?" Probably mentioned her before. Because I saw that I was barefooting, and she goes, "Oh, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I be?" And she goes, "Oh no, but see, are you okay?" I thought, "Oh, for fuck's sake." Obviously she thought I had some kind of psyche issue. Wherein it's kind of funny because it's the opposite, isn't it? It's, people think that you're not so good, but if anything, it's the opposite. You're actually far better for having, for doing this. Psychologically, it feels amazing. And psychologically, you do feel amazing for having done it. Mentally, it does you so much good. It does lift your spirits, eases depression. For me, it eases depression. But you do feel better for having done it, and it's simple exercise. I heard another theory as well the other day about how the average pair of walking boots weighs about 3.5 pounds, so what, about 2 kilos? Mine definitely don't, they're much lighter than that. So therefore, you're lifting all that for every walk that you're doing. I mean, walking sandals, fair enough, maybe about about 500 grams of that. And these are one of the better makes. But the point being is that you're actually doing a lot of damage to the environment walking in shoes. Now, says you used and all that, that's different. Some big overweight, middle-aged idiot walking about like this. But the point being is, when you're doing all that damage, every time you do a hill, every time you do any kind of wherever, you're actually destroying the environment by lifting heavy shoes. You'll always be doing some kind of damage to any environment by walking. But I appreciate in some of the bigger hills you definitely need walking boots. Hence why mine are torn up and got trashed. Took a lot of knocks on Schehallien. But point being, okay, it's impossible to do a lot of big hills barefoot. I had some guy do Ben Nevis barefoot, but from what I've heard, you know, the amount of training, the amount of conditioning that would require would be incredible. There's no way I would do the Ben barefoot. Maybe Ben Vorlich, but again, it needs a lot of conditioning. So yeah, on top of that, it means that it's less of a load. Basically the point that was made was it's less of a load if you're walking barefoot. They've got a point. But yeah, the thought of every footstep that you're making is putting an additional 2 kilos on top of your ordinary weight onto that environment. Okay. I guess fair enough. Interesting theory. Right, this is a very awkward bit because I tried to pick my line to work out the easiest way back is. You can see somebody here. I think you can see a guy doing the other end. There will be a couple of dog walkers. Right, the worst funny thing is the beach is huge at this time of day, but the marina is small. There's a couple of slipways leading onto the beach. Definitely a few dog walkers. And you should be able to see the train, or if not hear it. you actually have to walk under. When you walk through the small tunnel, you actually hear the trains above your head. When there's people about, I tend not to talk too much. There's nobody really about, but not been quite as summer as I'd hoped. Nonetheless, do this in a couple of months and do this in another month, and it'll be totally pitch black. Check the forecast for tomorrow, and it's going to be about 6 degrees overnight, so it's definitely going to get colder. So yeah, it's unusual for me to go barefooting beyond this time of year. The first one was on the 4th of October, 4 years ago. Second one a couple of weeks after. The second one I didn't enjoy that much, just I was wearing trousers and the environment was all wrong and the route was all wrong. I felt really self-conscious. This one, 4 years in, almost 300 walks in, was at 290s. We used to get to the 300 by March. It'd be nice to get to 300 during the winter. We'll see. And it's just going to be on those eternally dull Scottish days where even when it does get to full daylight and it really feels like it gets light. And it's just this time of year for you. Okay. Slowly getting back to reality. Right, now I can see my light. and that'll be the rain on it. Got to be a wee bit careful here because it's a wee bit clay-like. It's got stuck here with a couple of cancel. I accidentally got stuck around here in the summer.